I was sitting, I can see your belly. And that was right over there at the back of the room. These people down here, you know.
Sorry, I'm waiting for the punchline. Go on. No, seriously, go on.
Okay.
No, go on. You can see my belly, and we can all see you dying right now. Let's go for it. Here we go.
Ever watch someone who's been pretending to be nice for years finally get exposed for who they really are? Take that feeling, multiply it by a million, throw in some awkward celebrity sing-alongs and Hollywood ego, and you've got the James Corden downfall. Honestly, one of the most satisfying celebrity crashes the internet has ever gotten to witness in real time. This wasn't some misunderstood tweet or a single bad moment blown out of proportion. This was literally decades of people quietly whispering, "Yeah, that guy's awful," finally catching up to someone who spent his entire career acting like he's everyone's best friend. James didn't just fall from grace. He face planted over his own ego, tumbled down the entire hill, and somehow still found a way to blame everyone else. To really appreciate why watching this unfold feels so good, you need to understand that James Corden was actually popular at one point, which sounds completely insane now. Back in 2007, James co-created Gavin and Stacey with Ruth Jones. The show blew up in the UK. It was actually funny, heartfelt, relatable content, and James played Smithy, this obnoxious but somehow charming character. British audiences loved it. He went from nobody to household name overnight. This should have been the moment where staying humble could have set him up for life, but apparently humility wasn't part of the plan. People who worked with him started noticing the change immediately. Co-stars later came out saying fame hit James like a truck and his entire attitude flipped basically overnight. Rob Brydon, yeah, that Rob Brydon, literally had to pull him aside and tell him to chill out. His own sisters were warning him not to turn into an insufferable person. When your family is already concerned about your ego before you've even hit your peak, that's not a warning sign. That's a giant flashing neon billboard. But instead of listening to anyone with common sense, James went full throttle into acting entitled. He tried leveraging his Gavin and Stacey's success into sketch shows and movies, and almost everything bombed hard. Horn and Corden got absolutely demolished by critics. Lesbian Vampire Killers became a joke before it even released. The reviews weren't just negative, they were vicious. But here's the thing, James never reflected on any of it. Every criticism was treated like a personal attack. Every failure was somehow never his fault. That defense mechanism would follow him around like a shadow for the rest of his career. Then came a moment that honestly should have been a wake-up call. At the 2010 Glamour Awards, Sir Patrick Stewart called him out on stage for being unprofessional and checked out.
I was sitting, I can see your belly. And that was right over there at the back of the room. These people down here, you know.
Sorry, I'm waiting for the punchline. Go on. No, seriously, go on.
Okay.
No, go on. You can see my belly, and we can all see you dying right now. Let's go for it. Here we go.
This wasn't some random person on Twitter talking trash. This was Sir Patrick Stewart, an absolute legend, politely calling out garbage behavior in front of everyone. James's response? He completely lost it. Instead of apologizing or just taking the L, he snapped back and mocked Stewart in front of the entire crowd. That moment didn't kill his career right there, but it showed everyone something important. James Corden cannot handle criticism without losing his mind. Jump to 2014, and CBS made one of the strangest calls in late night television history. They gave The Late Late Show to James Corden. Most Americans had zero clue who this guy even was. Craig Ferguson had just bounced. Nobody really had high expectations. But CBS had an ace in the hole, Carpool Karaoke. And honestly, it actually worked at first. Watching famous people sing terribly in a car was genuinely fun content. Initially, Adele, Paul McCartney, Lady Gaga, those clips went nuclear viral, pulling in billions of views. All of a sudden, James Corden was absolutely everywhere. Award shows, movie roles, Broadway, voice work, hosting everything. America completely bought into the persona. He seemed harmless, not controversial, just a friendly British guy who wanted everyone to vibe, perfect for the corporate safe late night era. But while audiences were eating up the lovable goofball act, people working behind the scenes were seeing a totally different person. Crew members started sharing stories. Writers were dropping hints. Staff picked up on patterns real quick. How he spoke to people below him on the ladder. What came out of his mouth when cameras weren't rolling. How fast his entire mood would switch when something didn't go his way. Then came the moment that shattered the illusion for a ton of viewers. During a segment on Jimmy Kimmel Live, James got asked to name just 2 of his camera operators. People he literally worked with every single day.
2 of the cameramen in this room.
It's a different crew tonight, actually.
These are the people making his show happen night after night. He couldn't name one, not a single person. The entire room went dead silent. Jimmy tried to play it off as a joke. James just stood there frozen. That moment was everything you needed to know. This wasn't about having a bad memory. This was about how he viewed people who weren't famous or useful to his career. After that, everything started unraveling faster. In 2017, literally days after the Harvey Weinstein allegations exploded, James thought it would be genius to crack jokes about it at a public event. The crowd sat there in silence. The internet was not amused.
Right here in LA, it's so beautiful. Harvey Weinstein has already asked tonight up to his hotel to give him a massage. I don't know whether that groan was that you like that joke or you don't like that joke. If you don't like that joke, you should probably leave now.
You'd think given the crowd's reaction, he'd realise he needs to move on, but he just kept trying to make the joke stick.
It has been weird this week though, hasn't it? Watching Harvey Weinstein in hot water. Ask any of the women who watched him take a bath. It's weird watching Harvey Weinstein in hot water. Harvey Weinstein wanted to come tonight, but he'll settle for whatever potted plant is closest.
Rose McGowan straight up called him out publicly, saying exactly what people backstage had been muttering for years. Tone deaf, selfish, completely oblivious. Then James made possibly the worst decision of his life and did a Reddit AMA. If you want a masterclass in nuking your own reputation in under an hour, that thread needs to be framed somewhere. People flooded in with real stories. Servers, crew, assistants, writers, random people he'd encountered. Everyone describing the exact same thing. Entitled behavior, aggression, rudeness, zero self-awareness about how he treats people. One comment nailed it perfectly. A massively entitled nightmare. James answered like 3 easy questions and dipped immediately. But the damage was done. The internet stopped asking if James Corden sucked and started asking how he'd been getting away with it this entire time. And things were about to get so much worse for him. By the time the internet really turned against James, it wasn't one giant scandal that did it. It was a slow death from thousands of stories piling up. Once people felt safe speaking up, once they realized other people had identical experiences, it all came flooding out at once. And the picture it painted was impossible to defend. Let's talk about Cats, because you can't discuss James Corden's downfall without bringing up one of the most cursed films ever created. Cats wasn't just bad. It achieved legendary status for how catastrophically terrible it was. James played Bustopher Jones, this CGI abomination of a cat with disturbingly human hands, and the movie became an instant meme. Critics torched it. People walked out of theaters. The internet had a field day. And instead of owning the disaster or at least laughing about it, James did his signature move. He pretended it didn't exist. He admitted later he never even bothered watching the final version.
I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I've not watched the film.
Imagine being so embarrassed by something you made that you refuse to even look at it, but still expect people to respect you as a serious entertainer. That alone didn't destroy him, but it reinforced what everyone was noticing. James loved attention when things worked out and vanished the second anything went sideways. Then the prom happened. This one really damaged his reputation, especially with younger people. James, a straight guy, played this over-the-top gay character that was basically built on every outdated stereotype you can think of. Critics called it tone deaf. LGBTQ viewers felt insulted. James's response? Terrible, as expected. Instead of actually listening, he doubled down hard. He acted like everyone criticizing him was just being oversensitive, completely missing why people were upset. And once again, the pattern was obvious. When James gets called out, empathy doesn't exist. But the moment that really sealed his fate as a public villain didn't go down at some premiere or film set. It happened at a restaurant. In October 2022, Keith McNally, the owner of Balthazar in New York, publicly banned James Corden, not behind closed doors, publicly on social media. He called James, quote, the most abusive customer his staff had dealt with in 25 years of business. The story was wild. James apparently lost his mind screaming at servers because his wife's egg yolk omelet wasn't made right. Not once, twice, multiple people confirmed he went off on the staff, accused them of being incompetent, and made everyone in the restaurant uncomfortable. This wasn't him having one bad moment. This was a business owner willing to risk backlash just to protect his employees from this behavior. James tried damage control, saying the story was blown out of proportion, that he didn't yell, he just voiced some frustration, but nobody cared about his explanation because the second that story hit, dozens more came out. Flight attendants, hotel workers, TV crews, writers, drivers, different cities, different years, identical stories. People said he'd ignore his own family in public while going off on staff. Others described him treating assistants like they were invisible. Directors said he was hands down the most difficult person they'd ever worked with.
The most difficult and obnoxious presenter I've ever worked with is James Corden. I went along to Elstree and I sat in the darkness and kind of watched James on the set of League of Their Own rehearse. No audience, no other panel members, just him on his own. And he got he came to a point where he had to read from a card, and he had the card up like that, and he was reading from it. And it was kind of a joke in there, and he kind of just like, I remember, he just looked at it like, that's not funny. That's not funny. What? He was like, that's shit. That's shit. We have to rewrite that. We have to rewrite this. And I don't know, maybe he was having a bad day, I thought, and the writing's just not been up to scratch. But I definitely thought, man, you know, somebody wrote that. Not nice.
Writers said he tried underpaying people and stealing credit for ideas he had nothing to do with. The nice guy image was completely shattered. Here's what's actually wild about this. James wasn't brought down by one massive scandal. He got exposed because every single story matched up perfectly. Every account from different people, different places, different times, all said the same exact thing. Once people started connecting the dots, they realized the warning signs had been flashing the entire time. Even the Late Late Show started feeling off. Carpool Karaoke stopped being fun. Guests seemed less into it. Everything felt forced. The magic was gone. Without those viral clips protecting him, James's real personality was on full display. Ratings dropped, clips flopped, and Hollywood started quietly backing away. No dramatic statements, no public cancellations, just radio silence. And that silence was louder than anything. In April 2023, James announced he was leaving the Late Late Show.
I've decided to sign for one more year on the show, and that this will be my last year.
He sold it as wanting family time, starting a new chapter, finding peace. But let's be real, when everyone can't stand you, family time is just corporate speak for, I need an exit before this gets worse. His last episode came and went. Big name guests showed up. Everyone smiled for the cameras. But it didn't feel like a celebration. It felt like relief, like everyone was just ready to move on. And here's the most brutal part. CBS didn't replace him. They didn't hunt for a new host. They didn't try rebooting the format. They didn't attempt to recreate anything he did. They just ended the Late Late Show completely after 28 years. That's the coldest thing Hollywood can do to you. Being so forgettable that they just delete the entire time slot when you're gone. So why does watching James Corden's fall feel this satisfying? Because it wasn't random bad luck, it wasn't people being unfair, and it definitely wasn't blown out of proportion. We've all dealt with someone exactly like this. The coworker who's fake nice to your face, the boss who's all smiles in meetings then goes psycho behind closed doors, the person who takes all the credit, dodges all the blame, and acts like the victim when called out. James didn't lose his career because people were being mean. He lost it because the mask finally came off completely. And once it did, nobody wanted to help him put it back on. This wasn't a tragedy. This was karma showing up fashionably late but right on schedule. What do you think? Was James Corden just misunderstood, or did he completely deserve everything that happened after years of being fake and treating people terribly behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you're new.